I'm Stuart Tansley. I'm a director for Natural User Interface at Microsoft Research Connections in Redmond, near Seattle. And I'm also, in that capacity, on the side, the acting product manager for the Kinect SDK from Microsoft Research.
Right. Yep. Which came out a couple of months ago.
In June 16th.
Nice.
So we're super pleased to get that out the door. Quick refresh happened in August too, so we're on the case, headed towards a commercial SDK as soon as possible. This is a non-commercial release.
We'll get into that in a second.
Academic,
sure.
Yes.
Awesome. And so?
Lawrence Plumpton, academic developer evangelist, part of the Microsoft Australia DPE team. So I work with universities and have a great pleasure working a lot with Microsoft Research. And mostly looking at the platforms that students learn on and that teachers build curriculum.
So in universities, are they beginning to experiment with Kinect? Is that something you've touched on or looking at to in the future?
Yeah, so Microsoft has been involved in academia research for a very long time. And we've done a lot, whether it's Imagine Cup, or DreamSpark, where we give all of our software tools away to students. Kinect SDK is just one of the things inside of DreamSpark, and we watched academics and students go absolutely mental on Kinect SDK. And the amazing thing for me that I love is I'm never shocked to see Windows in the library, or I'm never shocked to see a Windows server in a server room. But when I walk in and see the number of people who've done something unique and brilliant on Kinect, I just it's awesome. It's awesome.
One of the most public Kinect-facing things, I guess, going back prior to the official SDK was KinectHacks.com. That was the way that people were sharing their experiments, if you like. And I was just interested to hear your thoughts on how people who have developed and spent time using Kinect SDK, is it going to be some kind of marketplace where you spoke briefly about there is a commercial one coming, but even just individuals who can publish their code and then let others use it?
So I think Kinect is an amazing technology. There's a lot of amazing new things to do on it, but it is a contribution to the larger story of Microsoft technologies. And I'm not sure we need a specific Kinect-only marketplace or something like that. We don't know what the product group is going to deliver at this point. We couldn't share it if we do know. What's important is getting the technology out into the hands of businesses that they can either build a business on this technology and the rest of the ecosystem, or sell applications on it. And I think the mechanisms that we will provide for certainly the Microsoft ecosystem are going to equally serve the Kinect technology well. So at the moment, I don't see the need for a specific marketplace for Kinect, but we shall see. Maybe it turns out that the marketplace of developers say that that's what they want, and we'll take that into account and see how it's useful.
And it's interesting. I agree with Stuart. I also don't see a specific need for Kinect marketplace. Where you isolate it. And if you go to Codeplex, which is a repository that people who want to share code and ideas can congregate, there are quite a number of Kinect.
So that's what people are doing, and that's pretty much a de facto marketplace at the moment. People are publishing up there, and then others can come along.
Well, I think it's better in a way. We're not specifying any constraints over what people do, so we're empowering people to go where they want to go. Choose your own forge.
Obviously, if they have a website, they can make it available through that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, not everybody does.
So we do have a project gallery that we encourage people using the official SDK to get highlighted on. So that's that's ramping up quickly now. It's becoming available. We'll see more around that in the coming months. But that's not so much a marketplace; it's more of a showcase for people.
Awesome. I've seen a couple of pretty awesome demos using Kinect.
Just a couple.
Well, yeah, quite a few actually. But
they're all
like controlling music, controlling robotics. I mean, there's some pretty wild stuff out there, and obviously you guys have probably had a lot more experience, and maybe if you want to talk to a couple of the best cases.
It's hard, isn't it? It's hard to show something cool in this technology, but yeah, I mean, the neat thing about the opportunities is that it's so rich with possibilities that people are consistently, even today, even almost a year on from the release of Kinect, still delivering cool stuff out there. Better yet, I think one of the things that's happening is that people have got more time to put more substance behind it. This is something that Microsoft Research is particularly keen to foster. That we as a more scholarly organisation, interested in publishing papers and furthering the evolution of technology itself, we know people need time to think about this stuff. And producing a cool demo on YouTube is great.
Yep.
Party on, absolutely keep going. But we also want some more scholarly research and PhD students to spend a couple of years thinking about this stuff and beyond.
Well, it's almost like the game development cycle. When a new console launches, the initial launch titles are great, but it's really a couple of years down the track from that then developers get the most out of that.
And we are not there yet with Kinect. I do not think we're there yet. I don't think we're even close to being there yet. We're starting to see the start of deeper thinking, and that's great. That's exactly what we should.
Have you had any feedback from developers that there are specific limitations, perhaps the VGA camera in Kinect, that might need to be addressed in a future version of Kinect?
Look,
it's great what's there, but I think it opens your mind to what's possible if there was a couple of tweaks or Kinect 2.
I work with them, but what marvels me, developers are very clever guys. I have not met a developer who sees a limitation. They just switch the direction of their thinking. And if you think of Kinect as a hardware device with an array of sensory input, they just augment it. So they go, I can't do that with Kinect, but I can take all this data that I've gotten from the Kinect sensor, and I'll take some data that I meshed over here, or I'll throw two Kinects together. I mean, they just
right, yeah,
so
and
it's
the
pretty awesome.
Price point of Kinect obviously allows that, and 3, 4, 5, and it's still practical to. And so certainly when you get to business, if there's office conference rooms or whatever it needs to be that's serviced by that.
I think Lawrence speaks well to this point. To develop it further, though, I mean, it's less about the constraints about the device. People are not thinking, oh, I can't do this, and then stop. They work around it. They step up to it. They get creative. Developers always want more.
Sure.
Everybody always wants more. But what's amazing is how much they're able to do with what's there. This is just the first generation of what I envisage to be a whole new paradigm in computing that Kinect is just one element of. So just the beginning.
We spoke at length last year at last Tech.Ed about natural user interface, and this is obviously a key component of Microsoft's development down that path.
It's an enabler, yeah.
Sure. Windows 8 is right around the corner, and we're all keen for build in a couple of weeks to find out what's in that. But I would imagine that it makes a lot of sense that there's maybe even better integration between Kinect and the future versions of Windows, and potentially even mobile devices and tablets. And can you speak at all about where you see it heading?
I can speak in generality.
I was going to invite you, if you haven't seen the seamless demo that we're doing here.
I have, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, and it's not due to Kinect or Windows 8 or anything. I mean, I think there's just been this very long-term view of Microsoft that applications are more than individuals, silos, that context around what applications and devices are doing are what creates those magic experiences. And so we built the seamless demo, and certainly we are working with universities and open source, give them the source code, because we want to see them build apps like that. So Stuart is the king of natural user interface.
Not quite.
but
business card.
A minor night in the
I'm digested.
There you go. I like that.
to that point, it's one of those things where, you know, as new capability comes, and will come in hardware form, will come in software form, it's all marching us towards that kind of thing where that experience is ubiquitous and the interface is just around us and truly natural versus, you know, a different experience.
Sure.
I think it's also important to recognise an actual user interface where Kinect is just a contributor to a much larger paradigm shift in computing. That it's not a line item feature in the next release of our products. It's much more of a fundamental shift and an opening up of new ways to interact with computing. So don't look too much about, oh, it's got the Kinect feature in the next release of Windows, but it really is bigger than that.
Let's talk numbers. You released the SDK, as you mentioned, a few months back. What's the download count at the moment, if you like?
We haven't actually released any figures on that, and it's not because we're not proud of the figures. In fact, we exceeded our goals rather quickly, so that was good. So we're not speaking to the numbers, but suffice to say, it's sort of the numbers you'd expect. You know, there's thousands upon thousands of developers out there that have already, you know, demonstrated their interest. We're seeing exactly that with the official SDK as well. It's really heartening to see. We can keep up with the traffic, but we have enormous server farms to do that. So I won't say the servers, you know, they're not on fire literally, but they're certainly very heartening to see. Very, very quickly exceeded our initial goals.
You know, we have Kinect as part of DreamSpark, so every DreamSpark download includes Kinect as part of it. But the amazing thing is, I mean, last year, you know, if I talked in terms of growth, we were well in the 300% range of growth of DreamSpark, and I like to think that Kinect is a big part of that. And you know, a student, you know, specifically computer scientists, there may be 19,000 in Australia, but if you throw it open to all the people who are interested, so hobbyist enthusiasts and student hobbyist enthusiasts, you're looking at a couple 100,000 and massive growth in downloading these free tools. So it's a big number.
Yeah. So you're obviously Microsoft Research. There was, I'm assuming, years of research that went into the technology behind Kinect.
Decades of computer vision and computer audio research behind this. And not just done by Microsoft Research either. I mean, it's really important that this is the culmination of that research that the entire research community has done over the years in companies and particularly in universities. So Microsoft Research does have a really good vision and audio research groups. They were key to helping ship the product. I think something that Microsoft Research has remarked upon, though, is how far Xbox had managed to already push the state of the art with their early prototyping. And yes, we helped them get over that final kind of last mile in the last year or so of the project, about 2 years actually. But it does really represent a success for the entire industry, the entire field of computer vision research, computer audio research. And we definitely made major contributions in the research side. But wow, in things like manufacturing too, it's just been amazing. This is a precision device. You need to make it reliable over millions of units. That is a whole lot harder than
as the Xbox 360 demonstrated. Sure. You mentioned audio, and probably one of the biggest pain points that I'm hearing for Kinect Audio is the Australian voice recognition. That issue, yeah. And I want to raise that with you. And
I'm British, so I have that.
Not a problem. What we've seen is Kinect Labs supports it right now, the Australian voice, but you know, there's games that are starting to ship now with Kinect voice enabled into Australia that, you know, we can't, not that we can't use, but you know, it's not, I guess, there for us to use. And certainly developers using the Windows SDK are going to run into that as well.
Not so much on the Windows SDK.
Does it use the
the
language from Windows?
You can choose. So that's up to you if you want to use a speech recognition engine that you bring in, that's the great thing. So you take the output from the mic and you
Gotcha.
put it through the speech recognition. So that's
Yeah.
really up to the developer. On Windows, from the game's perspective, there is a roadmap for Australian support, and with that, I'll just say that seeing it, I don't think that's...
Before the end of the year is what I heard, yeah, so
that roadmap is very close.
Mhm.
So.
a lot of enthusiastic people. It's a good problem to have. People want to use your products.
Exactly, and yeah, it would serve us no benefit to not ship these things as soon as possible.
So what would be the complexity there if we've got Australian voice support on Windows and not being able to put it on?
It does need to be. Audio is a black art. You do need to tune it. There is a speech model, as it's called, that is tuned in Kinect's case to Kinect. When we release the commercial version, I would expect there to be a roadmap to support the number of languages that they want to support commercially.
Right.
In this first release, this is just an experimental release for non-commercial exploration. I fully appreciate that Australians want to experiment too, but from priorities, we wanted to get the thing out the door as soon as possible.
Sure.
You can make some headway with it.
We'll just have to practice that UK and American accents. And
no, it doesn't have British English either, so I'm with you.
Yeah.
And it's also one of those interesting things where, again, as a developer, you think of a problem. So you could take raw input, run it through whatever speech SDK, including Windows speech SDK that you properly train, and then you can take that and pump it back into Kinect SDK. I haven't seen that as a developer problem on the Windows SDK, but yeah, always interested to know.
Awesome. You guys got something else to add? Otherwise, we'll wrap it up there.
I think we're proud to ship the SDK. I know it was much anticipated. I'm thrilled that people didn't just say, oh yeah, Microsoft finally developed the SDK. No, they've really risen to it. They're really doing further innovation on it. I think it's remarkable this thing has got legs. It's going to continue. We're really looking forward to the commercial release as soon as possible. So, as a technology which will help us all get to the new paradigm of natural user interface, as well as it being a useful sensor in its own right, for putting on robots and whatever device you want. It's thrilling to see this and be involved in the start of this new paradigm.
For me, it's been interesting. So my entire career has been somehow connected to software development. And so you get to see a lot of cool stuff. You get to see a lot of cool prototypes. And you get to see, generally in the industry, people doing some very cool stuff. And you know it's cool when you see it. Kinect is one of those things that, no matter where it comes from, I see that this is the future. And I have no doubt, even with all of the experience, that this is, as Stuart has said, we're at the very beginning of something incredible. So that's awesome.
Fantastic. Thanks for your time, guys.
Appreciate it. Cheers.